Okay, you're right.
Yeah, it is. All right, we're live. Go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Aries.
Oh, of course he freezes. That makes sense. Welcome to Aries, everybody. It's the Alternative Real Estate Investing Strategies
What
meeting.
we do is on this meeting, we talk about how to make money and work.
Woo!
Thank you. Wow. I'm sorry, I've been out of touch for a little while. But it's we talk about alternative ways to make money in real estate other than landlord fee. There's another meeting that happens every other Thursday from this meeting where they talk about landlording. I used to be a landlord. I still am a landlord. I do self-storage, but it's much different type of landlording, that's for sure. Yeah. So most people make money in real estate landlording, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's why we have another group that's dedicated to landlording, and they meet every other week too. So a lot of times we'll just throw this out for open forum, talk questions and stuff like that. If somebody has a question about landlording, we'll discuss it, but I might move us away from it too. I'm not being rude. I'm just, most people on this call aren't landlords. But we do welcome landlord questions because it involves, investing in real estate, because some of us are wholesalers, some of us are buying houses to fix and flip and stuff like that. And the landlording perspective in Rochester has an effect on all real estate. There's a disclaimer at the beginning. We're not attorneys. We're not accountants. We're not CPAs. We don't offer financial advice. We're just offering information. We're all sharing information. And, it's a rising tide rises all ships. That's what we do here. We all help each other. And throughout my real estate career, this group has been a tremendous help. There's no way I would be where I'm at without this group. I've been with this group from the beginning. And I believe in this group, and I believe in giving back too. But honestly, when I give back 10 times what I've given people. But I'm going to admit, real estate's not without its struggles. It's not perfect. And that's why we need each other too. The people you see on this call, I'm sure we're all willing to take a call from you. If you're having a down day or just something isn't working or something like that, don't hesitate to call, reach out, text people. I face it too. I face my issues. I face my problems. And I got a group of people I can lean on. I know I call Andy McQuaid at any time, day or night, it seems like, and he'll answer the call. Same with Joe Lavabera. We're all busy, but we all have time for a call or text, and that's what this is about. Really trying to help each other. So we have a smaller group today, which is great. What we can do is go around the room, do intros. It looks like we might have a few newer people on here, and that's great. We appreciate that. And then we got my old buddy Gabe here. I love his background. Well, when I grow up and get a nice computer like him, a newer computer, I'm going to put that as I'm going to have to find something, but I'm going to something like that in my background. I love that.
Still has an iPad. You got to get an iPad for that.
Oh, here we go. Oh, no.
Very nice. Very nice.
I know. About a month ago, I struggled. I've been debating on getting a new phone. I was going to do it when I got to Rochester this summer. But my Samsung decided to make me make the choice. It was a Samsung 7. It decided to make me make the choice much quicker than I wanted to. So I defaulted back to Samsung. I was considering about buying an iPhone. I said I'd never follow the herd. I lead the herd, but I was looking at the iPhone, but I had to make a quick decision. So I just went to Samsung. I went from a Samsung 7 to a Samsung 22. So that just gives you an idea of how far behind I was.
Well, at least you have security now. Just because of you, I have to put the beach out. But
there you go.
Anyway, the Samsung 7 hasn't had a security patch in 2 years. So you're probably better off if you do business on your phone to have the 22.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And then, I might be doing a laptop upgrade too this summer. So, but anyways, enough about me. What we're going to do, we'll go around the room, we'll do intros. Since it's a smaller group, we're going to let everybody do intros. And then I think it just kind of helps the group. What we'll do quick intros, and then we're going to go down around the room. We'll do have, needs, wants. That's where you talk about what you need, what you have. If you have something you're looking to sell or looking to buy, or if you need a contractor for something, you throw it out then. And then we'll go around the room. We'll do questions and answers. If you have a question, that's the time to ask it. If you ask it during the have needs wants, I might interrupt you a little bit and just say, hey, let's save that for the question period. I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to move this along for everybody, make this beneficial for everybody. So I'll start. My name is Scott Spear. I was a full-time investor in Rochester, New York, born and raised Rochester. I love Rochester. Rochester, in my opinion, is the best market period to make money in real estate. It is the easiest place to make money, and it's safe. You don't see the big up down swings that you see in other parts of the country, and it's stable. It's a stable rental market. Now that things have opened up the last 2 years, I know were brutal for landlords. I experienced part of that. But Rochester, in my opinion, is the best real estate market, hands down, to make money in, for new investors and for seasoned investors. And I know there's seasoned investors on here that say the same. So, now I'm a full-time RVer, travel around the country. We sold our house, sold 90% of our contents. We live in an RV now. We travel around. It's not without its struggles. But the best thing is we can be where we want, when we want, for as long as we want. So that's a good thing about RVing. And all of that, I was able to do that because of real estate. I was working a 9 to 5 before. There's no way I'd be able to do what I'm doing now if I was still working at 9 to 5. So, and my job is to help people who are in that 9 to 5 get out of that 9 to 5 who want to, but yet who won't put in work. So that's me. I'm done. Who wants to go next? If not, I'll call you out.
Hey, Scott, can I go first? Because I got to jump off for a second. You know what?
Yeah, go right ahead, Gabe.
Is that okay? Okay.
Mhm.
My name is Gabriel. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I've been a real estate full-time for, we're going up on a year now, dude. So, and it's going real good. I closed on 2 weeks. Scott and I closed on 2 deals. We're going to close on 2 more. And I'm going to call another lead. We're going to slay this dragon today. And so it's going real good. I used to be in the restaurant, but I never looked back. And now I'm having the time of my life, man. And it's going great. And I have great people around me. And I love Scott like your brother. And you guys don't want anyone else by your side but this guy. And maybe Joe Bear, maybe.
Yeah, maybe if he shows up.
But no, it's all good. So that's my spiel.
I have a quick question for you, Gabe. Those birds I hear chirping in the background, is that a fake bird noise? Or is that real bird noise?
No, I'm actually on my deck this morning. You guys can't see my background, but that's why I can't see me a little bit. But the sun's shining, but it's a beautiful day. So I'm like, I'm going to take advantage and be on my deck.
So you got birds chirping in the background. Did you have that at the restaurant too? When you were working in the restaurant, could you hear the birds chirping in the background?
No, I heard fans running because the exhaust fans came in.
Okay.
Oh, I heard.
All right, good. Good. Well, I'm happy for you. Thanks a lot, Gabe. Thanks for introing yourself. Good. Who wants to go next?
Don't everybody speak up at once. All right. Anyway, I'll go. I'm Andy McQuaid. I am a full-time consultant that works with owners and operators of real estate, mostly multifamily, but I do a little bit of everything. I also do some research and some market consulting on various things. I've done projects for Angie's List. I have 3 major banks that call on me to talk to their investors in Australia, actually in Sydney. I work with JP Morgan. I work with a local Australian bank called Jarden, and I work with UBS, which is a Swiss bank. I give them some market insight on building materials and the real estate industry as a whole in the US. And then I also do other types of consulting. I've worked with law firms. I've worked for FFREIA. I've worked for a company called MT Copeland that does training for new people trying to get into the trades to become a contractor. I've done a lot of stuff, all of it real estate, building materials related. I've been doing it for 20 something years, but I've only been out as a consultant for 3 now. And yeah, I'm working with Anthony actually on a 330 unit apartment complex right now, trying to get it rehabbed to a point where they can actually get the rent that it's worth because of the location. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, I'll go next. I mean,
Excellent.
I work for Andy. I do a lot of flips, but currently just working more with the real estate market on the downslide, and the price is still not rebounding yet. It's still expensive, so doing more construction Still looking for a building, the Browncroft Culver Road area, something with tenants above, storefront for an office, and maybe some storage space. So if anybody knows anything around that area, I'm looking for a building. Other than that, working for Andy. That's it.
Cool, thanks, Anthony.
There we
I'm
go.
gonna call out Dan. Dan, I'm calling you out. Go ahead.
Hey guys. First time on one of these calls. I had a friend maybe a year ago mention your guys' community, and it's taken me too long to get on. But kind of like what Scott was saying, 9 to 5, do stuff in IT, studied for project management stuff last year. In my 30s, just thinking investment wise, not wanting to work for somebody my whole working career if possible, but also just early on, just trying to look at what are opportunities out there that are realistic. How can I dabble into like a multifamily? So that's kind of probably my want is finding something in Monroe County. I currently rent in Brighton, something that could be a side-by-side duplex or multifamily in a half decent area. I think lower tax areas might be like Henrietta or the city, from what I know, but you guys might know better. So really just here to learn what strategies or systems could be out there. If there's other ways to finance besides getting a mortgage. So yeah, just open to hearing from your guys' experiences.
Excellent, thanks, Dan.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have some information we'll definitely share with you. Okay, next I'm gonna call out Diane.
Hi, thanks. Thanks, guys. Yes, name's Diane Yale, and I currently own a 4-family, and I want to buy another one. I'm ready to invest in that. 4, 5, 7. I want to retire with a portfolio of real estate. So I'm here to learn. I've been to some of these meetings, but I think at this point I'm committed now to just move forward, get the next one, and learn what I can. I'm in Ontario County, so, and my other 4 families in Steuben, so I'm happy to look at those 2 places as I go forward. So thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Jim's iPhone. Jim, you there? I don't have you on video, but I see you.
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, I am actually at work. That's why I'm not on video. So still working. Been with FFREIA for a while now since the start of COVID, but we can kind of been bouncing around trying to find something to invest in. We've made some offers. Nothing has been accepted yet. So still plugging away and hopefully make something of this. And yeah, I'm just here to soak up the knowledge.
Excellent, thanks. Jim, what's your last name? I know you've been with FFREIA for a while, but for everybody else, what's your last name?
Oh yeah, Jim Bice, B-I-C-E, Bice.
Cool, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And let's see. The FFREIA, the Freedom First FFREIA person. If you want to intro yourself, go ahead. I know it's more of a monitor sitting there. I never know who it is. But okay. All right. Andy, we'll let that one go, you think?
I didn't hear. I was getting a refill on my coffee. Sorry.
Okay. The Freedom First FFREIA person. That's just
Freedom
somebody
First
kind of
FFREIA. That's got to
monitoring.
be D.
I think.
Or
it's
oh
D.
no, you know what? It's Joe. He got
What?
up and left.
Okay. All right. We'll let Joe leave. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
McGuire.
wait a second. I was here. I was doing
Oh, there
three
he
other
is.
things.
I'm gonna change your name so it's actually you.
Oh, well, that's probably true, but I going along with Scott, I have my own computer issues and I've got one over here I'm trying to get to start. So I don't know. And I hit the wrong button here and I'm afraid to go back and touch something else. I may end this whole meeting.
Hey, don't do that. You're not the host anymore. You can't end the meeting. I'm the host.
Oh, okay. Hey, great. Now it takes a ton off. Let's see. In any case, I'm Joe McGuire, Vice President of FFREIA. And actually that was supposed to be for 1 or 2 years. And that was 12 years ago. So
Mhm.
from 2010. So it's been a long time. Yeah, I primarily do lending and mortgages. I ran a mortgage office for a while, a number of mortgage offices. And I buy mortgages in different areas. I do some lending up here. I'm working on a mortgage down in Georgia right now. So I go a number of places. The only place I will not go is Cleveland or New York City. Or I suppose California. The whole state of California is crazy. But that's it. You know, I've sold all of the real estate that I owned. I'm looking at other things, new ventures with it, but we'll see how that works out. And that's about it, really.
Thanks, Joe. And Joe, I'm going to call on you later. There was a couple things that came up during the intros that I'd like for you to speak on.
Sure.
Do that. Okay.
Sure.
Good. All right. Now we're going to go around the room. We're going to do have, needs, wants. If you looking for a particular thing or.
Oh, hold on. Wait a second.
Oh.
Leslie just jumped in. And we haven't heard from Leslie in a while, so we got to put Leslie on the spot and have him intro himself. Hi, Leslie. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm just now getting in here. Okay. What is it you want to know?
So
intros.
Yeah, so it's just an intro to everybody in the room. So just introduce yourself, what you do, how you do it.
Well, Leslie Brooks, and I am trying to get successful in doing either flips or rentals. I have a couple of I have a rental and I have a couple of fixing rehabs going on. Two rehabs going on. I have one that I'm trying to rent, and I have one rental. Nothing's really working well for me right now, by the way. I've been my 2 rehabs that I'm still working on, the houses that I've had for a couple of years. I got them just before COVID, and so I had people living there for free for about a year and a half. I got them, actually, it's about last summer when I finally was able to get into those. And finding people to do the work and getting the work done, everything is taking time. So that's what's happening there. In the process, I bought 2 other houses that were pretty much ready to rent. They weren't as ready as I thought they were. So I had to do a little more work there. And then, so I got one rented in March. I haven't received rent on time yet. So I got paid for April, about 2 weeks late. I got May, about 3 weeks late. I haven't received June or July. Then I have another one that I'm trying to rent now. Hopefully that one will work out better.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Leslie. Maybe I shouldn't have put you on the spot.
Well,
That
that's the realities of real estate, you know, that's for sure. And that's why there's a whole nother group for landlording. But anyways, Leslie, I don't know what the status is in Rochester, New York, but I'm going to say hit them hard and hit them up, and, you know, hit them quick. You know, when they're behind on rent, you know, there's other tenants out there to grab. Don't be afraid to lose these tenants. But you just go after them. You know, it's
people are definitely hungry and looking. And if you start the eviction process for, you know, non-payment of rent, like now, they're still going to allow them to apply for ERAP, even though there's no funds, and you're going to get adjourned 3 more times. So the soonest you're going to get those people out is 5 months from now. So you need to start now.
Yeah,
I,
start
was-
now.
I spoke to a lawyer yesterday because I was going to send the 14-day pay or quit. Actually, today, as of today, I could do that.
Yep.
But now I guess that one has to be served. to a
Yes.
process server.
Yellow sheet of paper, all that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Oh, yellow paper. Okay. Well, hopefully he would know. He would know that. But he was telling me, he said, things. You're getting a 2-month date before you actually make your first appearance, and then they can apply for rent relief, which they take about 2 months
Correct.
to respond to that. But I have to wait for that response.
Yep. And they can do
then
3
If I
adjournments
accept it, I'm kind of stuck with them for a while.
a year, unless they don't pay rent again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then it's 3
But
months.
you can't raise their rent. And in this market, you may need to do that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I think if I start the process, I'm gonna want to get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
One of the houses I'm thinking of doing a flip just to get one under my belt. So, I'm just starting with this. So I think one of them I'm gonna try to flip. But the thing is that the guy that's working on it, he's not doing things quite to the standard that I would like. So I don't think I'm gonna, and taking longer than I want. So I don't think I'm gonna get what I wanted for that. So I'm still debating whether to rent that or still do a flip on that one just to get one under my belt,
Just to make sure the numbers work, whichever way you decide to go, because the market is turning quickly right now. I'm seeing wholesalers, including our own Brett Awanowitz, is now reducing his prices on properties because they're sitting too long. Like Brett's trying to wholesale out a house that's probably got an ARV of 90, 95, and he reduced it down to 45 like yesterday. So yeah, move quickly.
Wait a second. He went from 90 to 45?
No, it's got an ARV of 90. He's wholesaling it
Oh,
instead of trying to flip it. He's going to wholesale it out and just dump it.
But how much work needs to be done on it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't really look at the listing. All I saw was he put a big thing on Facebook yesterday about price reduced, all offers on the table. I was like, oh no, here it comes.
Yep. Here comes the storm. Get ready. Get cash. Get ready. Well, thanks, Leslie. Thanks for doing that. And one of our conversations here might be about contractors. But yeah, let's see where it takes us. Right now, we're going to do have needs wants. Okay, unless somebody else joins like last minute. But anyways, have needs wants. Gabriel, I'm gonna let you go first because I know Gabriel has a very important phone call to make in a few minutes. But Gabriel, go ahead, go first.
He may actually already be on the phone call because I don't think he's listening. Oh, there he is. Sorry. You're muted, Gabe.
He's muted and he's like robotic, right? That must
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
iPad he has or the computer.
See, he had to get all fancy.
He did. See, he had to go bragging about. There you go. See,
There. Oh, on, off. Maybe he has lag. We can see you, bro.
How about now?
All right, you're good.
Yay!
You're good. We got to fix your
Okay.
potato internet.
My Wi-Fi sucks this morning. Sorry, guys. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking for well, the background says it all. I want if you can still see it. I don't know if you can still see anything right now, but in any event, though, I'm looking for self-storage anywhere in the United States. Ideally 10,000 square feet and above. Anything anywhere. I'll look at anything, and if it works, it works. It's all a numbers game, as we all know. And if it falls into our criteria, me and Scott's, and then we'll take a look into it, and then we'll just take the reins from there. But if anyone knows of anyone or knows someone, or if you yourselves are willing to sell self-storage at a 10 cap, that'll be great. But that doesn't matter. I'm just talking serious joke about the cap rate. In any event, though, anywhere, and we'll make the numbers work if we have to. So that's what I'm looking for any day, all day. So now I got to go make my call. Excuse me.
All right, cool. All right. Anybody else have needs wants? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Jim. I'll go. So my wife and I are looking for small multifamily, mixed use around the area. The numbers will work. We can work with them trying to off market. We tried MLS really everything is still kind of high there. I don't know if this is a have needs and wants, but Scott, you did mention something about getting cash together. And maybe we can save this for questions, but I wanted to talk a little bit more possibly about equity trust. We have a old 401k sitting around. We wanted to learn more about that.
Well, Scott is the equity trust guy. He's probably done more deals through equity trust than anybody other than maybe Joe McGuire. So
No, Scott's the guy that they have do their commercials for, or their not commercials.
their
but
webinars.
Their webinars, their instructional things. Yes, yeah.
It's true. Well, you use Quest too, right? Not just equity trust. I shouldn't say that name. Quest is bad. They don't sponsor us.
All right. As both guys drink a cup of coffee. Okay. Who else have needs, wants? Dan, I know you said something. Not what are you looking for again on the have needs, wants?
Yeah, I guess people that have done seller financing, if you have input about that process or non-mortgage lending. And yeah, mainly similar to what was just said, some type of side-by-side duplex would be great, something to just get me started in multifamily. I mean, 150 was kind of where I was looking some time ago, but then kind of have been in the rent game right now. So I'm actually moving, and I've been putting an ad out on Facebook and Craigslist because I'm trying to rent out one of the rooms. So I'm learning a little bit about that. If you guys have input about, I guess, how to vet people or good questions to ask, that could be good as well. But yeah, within the next year, it'd be nice if I could find a property. So thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna circle back around on the finance that you're asking about. So that definitely is gonna be a topic. Cool. Anybody else have needs, wants? Diane, Anthony?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it a little bit before, but I'm looking for, 4, 5, 6 family perhaps in either Ontario County, could be Monroe. I'm not adverse to that, but I think I might get a better price a little farther out. And I have some cash for financing, but perhaps I could use some help or getting started with that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks.
All right. And the next person up might just happen to have something, as long as you're looking for something turnkey. Anthony, go ahead, have needs, wants.
I'm looking for, like I said earlier, a building that has rental plus storefront for an office. And I do have Diane, I sent you something. I have a 4-unit that I'm in the process of an eviction, getting rid of one of my tenants. So we're at court, so we should have her out probably in the next month. Once she's gone, then I'm going to go in, clean the whole place up, and put it on the market. It's 4-unit in Sodas. It does very well. I've never had a problem through this whole thing getting rent from the tenants. So it's a good moneymaker. So that'll be going up for sale. I'll put it out to the group once I get it ready. And Andy's got me so busy right now that I just can't even think about purchasing right now. I think we have enough work for the next year, so we're in good shape.
It needs love. That's all I'm saying. I don't even own it. I have no ownership stake in the property, but it needs some TLC.
Oh, I'm gonna go a little bit more than that, but
Hey, it used to be a Farish property. That's all I'm gonna say.
oh, yeah, okay.
All right. Cool. Good. I knew there'd be a connection there, so I figured Anthony. Okay. Leslie, you have need, want? Are you good? We're going to talk about contractors too. I'm doing that in Leslie's behalf. Leslie,
Yeah, well, I guess I might have a question or two, but right now I'm kind of focused on getting what I got going on settled. So I'm not really
okay
out there in the market now.
Good idea. Good idea. All right. And then, well, great. Me, have needs, wants, just like Gabe. We are partners. We partnered up on a few deals in self-storage. I'm looking for self-storage anywhere in the country. Actually, I branched out to anywhere in the world now. I've made some good international connections. It's weird how other countries and stuff that they don't need, they put in some, but in other countries, they don't seem to do that as much. But no, self-storage has been very good for me. There's a guy who lives local there in Rochester, Mike Wagner, who started Storage Rebellion. It's been great. I've known Mike for a number of years. We've been friends for a lot of years. So, but yeah, self-storage anywhere. If you're driving by something and you see something looks a little run down, if you just want to snap a picture and send it to me, we'll call them. And if we buy a facility that you refer to us, we'll pay at least $5,000. Last wholesale fee I paid was $60,000 on a wholesale fee. And I was getting a good deal by buying the property, and the person getting the wholesale fee at $60,000, you know, he made good money too. So I'm willing to pay cash. I'm willing to bring you as an equity partner if you want instead. For long term, and I can show you more money long term in a lot of cases. But yeah, self-storage is where it's at for me. So at this point, we're going to go into questions. Somebody has a question, let's throw it out there. If not, we're going to talk about financing. We're going to talk about contractors. Jim, I do have a question for you. I have you in my phone, but I have two numbers for you. On your cell phone, what's the last four of your cell phone for me to send a text to?
Oh, it's the 255-0963, and I'll put that in the chat.
Perfect. Okay. All right. I'm actually going to send you the contact for Equity Trust here in just a minute. So.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Thank you.
And yeah, yep. And if you want, you can call me anytime. You know, questions on Equity Trust. They are a sponsor of the REIA, and I promote them. There's other companies out there, but I love Equity Trust because they're like my attorney. They keep me out of trouble. I send them deals that I'm working on, and they'll come back and they'll say, we'll fund that deal for you if you want, but here could be the problem with that, and you could get IRS. That's like my attorney saying, you can buy this if you want, but I don't think you should. So that's why I like Equity Trust. They do take a little bit longer, but the difference between a day or two, in my opinion, and being safe and not under the IRS microscope is worth it to me. So yeah, I'll send that over to you, Jim. And for everybody else, I'll put it in the chat box too. So, but at this point, we'll do, we're gonna talk about financing. We'll come back to that as a subject. We'll part of that too, we'll talk about Equity Trust a little bit too. If there's time, we'll talk about contractors. So let's go ahead, see what kind of questions people have, and then we can answer those questions quick. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up or ask a question on?
Well, I've been fumbling and thinking about insurance, you know, on the homes that I have. I have American Modern, and I was kind of looking into some other policies. And one of the things that I've found different of what I'm being told, that really the striking difference for me is that the other two policies, which is with Brown and Brown and JD Prime, if I have someone working for me that's not insured and they get injured, that I'm not covered for them. But through the broker I have American Modern through, they're telling me they would be covered. Does anybody have any experience with that? Because sometimes I'm hearing something from somebody that's a broker, and when it comes down to it, then your adjuster or your claims person comes and says something, maybe something different. I don't know, but does anybody have any experience with any of that?
We don't offer legal or financial advice. In my opinion, I would I'll let somebody else answer that question. So go ahead, Anthony or Andy McQuaid. If you'd like to answer that question, go right ahead. If you heard what the question was.
The the best thing you can do is to actually call whoever your rep is at JD Prime or at Brown and Brown and just say, hey, this other broker is telling me this. Is that true? Yes or no? And then I would take a really hard look at why you're hiring somebody to do work on your project that's not insured.
Okay, yeah, easy to get to, a little bit cheaper. And I'm thinking for something simple. I'm not going to have them for major work, but you know,
Right.
could be something
Right.
simple
Still.
if somebody gets hurt. You know.
Yeah. I've seen people go up to fix a roof and burn an entire building down. So yeah, like literally going up to fix like 4 shingles and do a little bit of repair work and the place burned. So yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure you have your own insurance covering them or they have insurance, but believe me, it's you don't want to do that without insurance. You gotta have it. Gotta have it. They have to have it or you have to have it covered. But
So how do I cover them? Do I do something special for somebody that comes, or
There's a bunch of different companies. There's like five players that'll cover single one-off construction projects in New York State. Like you can get a hold of Zurich, you can get a builder's risk policy. There's a bunch of like one-off, like $500-600. You pay it, it covers that guy or that project if something goes sideways. Yeah, don't work uninsured. Bad mojo.
bad.
okay?
Absolutely, Leslie, especially somebody like you. You're super nice, and there's a reason that insurance. There's a reason he probably doesn't, and probably the biggest reason is nobody will insure him. They know he's a scammer or something like that. I'm not saying every uninsured contractor is like that, but you have to really doesn't have insurance a lot. I know insurance is expensive, but right now, if you're a good contractor, you can kind of command your price and usually should be covering your insurance costs. So in my opinion, I wouldn't hire somebody who wasn't insured. So,
Yeah,
Like even a handyman type of thing, or if anything at all.
there's insurance companies for. I mean, I had when I was doing smaller jobs, I had general liability insurance for $1 million, $2 million aggregate plus workers' comp, and it ran me $2,800 a year. So I mean, it's not that expensive for a single guy or a single handyman to do it. I mean, when you get into the crews and you're doing $1 million worth of business, yeah, it gets pricey. But most reputable guys, put it this way: if you're going to hire somebody and they don't have insurance, that's your first red flag. To me, that's my first red flag. So, I mean, yeah, it's cheaper, but Salino and Barnes have more billboards up than you can count. There's a reason for that. So that's just my advice.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, I guess could I jump in with another question? This is regarding contract. What I have in one of my places, I had some electrical work done. We had a permit, and there's some things he needs to do to finish up. I've been kind of contacting him over and over. He got to the point where I think I guess he didn't like my tone in something that I said, and he said you'd rather communicate via email. So I said that I'm fine with that. But then I'm not hearing from him, and it's been over a week. I'm asking him, when can you come and finish up and that kind of thing. And since the permit and everything is under his name, it seems like I'm stuck with him to finish up or do anything. Is there any way around that? I mean, do I have any alternative other than, I don't know, do I have to go beg him or something, or what?
Well, even though the permit's in his name, I guess I don't know for electrical. I mean, typically they need an inspection if there's a permit. So the work's got to be done correctly, but I don't know because usually the permit follows the property and not the contractor necessarily. So even though he's the one who went and filed the permit, it's for the address. It doesn't matter who's completing the work. So you can bring somebody else in. And as long as the work passes the electrical inspection, yeah, this guy's name is on it as the electrician, but it either passes or it doesn't. Just hire somebody who's insured and knows what the hell they're doing, get it finished, have it inspected, and just tell the guy you're done with him and you're not going to pay him. The end. Like, don't pay these guys for work they don't complete. Pay them by the job, not by the hour, and get it done.
To Andy's point, there it is. I really don't got to say much more, but the permit goes with the property, not with the contractor. So your electrical inspector is going to sign off on the property, not the guy that did the work. So yeah, you can hire.
It just what I'm hearing is that he has to be the one to call in for the inspector to come out.
No, you can do it. You're the property owner. No, you're the property owner. You can do it. Yeah. You can do it. He might have the relationship downtown, but an inspector doesn't give a crap about, like, some chick at the office answers the phone, says, okay, we'll schedule you for this. And they go out and they do the inspection. Like, don't lose sleep over it. Don't get lost in the stupid details. Just punch it out, get it done.
And if you got a rough inspection already certificate that he's got, which he should have given to you, that's the inspector's information right on that rough inspection sticker. Call them directly and say, I need a final. And then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that need to be completed, I guess, before the final, but I guess, I'm just thinking about bringing in somebody else towards the end of another person's work. It seems to could be pretty problematic. I don't know. And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it's not your problem. Get the work done, get it so it passes code. If the first guy doesn't like it, tell him to pound sand and you're not going to pay him because he didn't finish the project. The end. Like, that's literally it. He can try and file a mechanics lien against you. That's about as far as it's going to go.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, cool. All righty. Any other questions anybody would like talked about? Anybody would like to bring up?
Well, Leslie just brought up, so insurance and contractors, do you guys that have done this for a while, do you have like a template of a lot of stuff that just gives you a reference of things, or not really? How do you kind of organize that information, I guess?
So Bigger Pockets is probably the best place to go and read when you're first starting out to figure out what bases you need to cover. And the guy who started Bigger Pockets has a couple of books that walk you through a lot of the basics for getting into real estate investing and doing property management and stuff. That's usually like the first place for new investors to go. And there's like a podcast. Don't listen to the new podcasts because they're all commercials. Like, don't give a crap about any podcast that's been done by Bigger Pockets from like 2020 on. But if you go back to the older ones from like 2015, 2016 to like 2019, that's where the actual meat is. If you like listening to people talk, it's a good starting point.
Okay. Thank you.
Andy, right?
I didn't catch that. You're breaking up.
I'm sorry. JD is still a vendor member, right?
Yes. Yep. He actually came to a meeting in person. He came to the last general meeting at Da Vinci's.
I see. Okay. Thanks. When I said living on the road isn't without its struggles, one of the struggles is Wi-Fi connectivity. I am thinking about, I'm looking into some other alternatives, but JD Prime is one of our vendor members. So anybody looking for insurance, I highly suggest you call JD Prime. They're, Leslie, especially you, I don't know if you deal with them or not. I'll put their contact in there. But JD Prime, they'll walk you through the process. They'll tell you whether or not somebody would be insured working on your property. They will point you in the direction for the right insurance too. They're not just going to sell you the cheapest insurance. They're going to sell you the right insurance for your business. So So all that being said, I'm going to put the contact information for our contact at JD Prime Insurance. I know they do property insurance, they do rental insurance. I don't know about other insurances. They probably do. But I would definitely call them. If you're new to the group, or even if you're existing in the group, give them a shout, see if they can do something for you. I suggest you call insurance companies and get quotes like once a year on all your insurances. You might be surprised, but stick with a brand name, stick with a name that you know, stick with a company where you can talk to the same representative each time you call in. So, and that's why we like JD Prime. So I'll put their contact info in there. But that's for insurance.
And I've spoken with person from JD Prime, and he's one of the ones, you know, I was talking to and considering. The only thing with him, yeah, he's nice on the phone. He answers questions, but he sends me like a very broad thing, almost just the you know, like coverage page for the policies, and I like to look at it a little bit deeper. I guess other than what someone is saying, I like to read something about, you know, all of the things some of the things that are covered or not covered. But he never really seemed to be willing to send out any more than just that page listing the coverage amounts and then a total price on each for the whole thing. That was my only issue with him. But
Okay. All righty. I'd look up her number. So we have another, well, he owns it, Jim owns it, and then I can't remember her name, who was like my I say she's my contact. I don't deal with properties in Rochester.
Arlene.
I thank you, Arlene. We'll put her contact info in there too. Okay.
I got another one.
Yep, go right ahead.
So Scott, you said, and then also Gabriel, like self-storage, like anywhere. What's the motivation for that versus other ways of investing, and your mindset at this point with doing that?
Go ahead, Gabe.
What was that? What's the mindset of it? I didn't catch the question.
Why self-storage investing instead of doing house flipping or traditional live-in rentals or boarding houses or hard money lending, blah, blah, blah? Why did you choose self-storage?
Or working a 9 to 5 or owning a restaurant.
2 words, less work. It's not easy. That's for sure. I mean, enough, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And my professor told me in college, if it's easy, it usually doesn't work. So, but no, the thing about self-storage is the how fast the equity can go up quickly. I mean, all you gotta do is raise rents like a 2%, 2 to 10%, and or whatever percentage you want to do. But and you can go from like $500,000 to 1.2 million overnight. I mean, literally, you know, it's just so explosive. But the most important thing is that it's kind of like fire and forget. You hire a tenant, you put them in there, they put their stuff in the storage, and have a nice day. You won't see them for maybe 5 years. I talked to owners that have been, that some tenants have had their storage facility or unit for like 15, 20 years, literally. It's like, it's crazy. And they just sit there and just collect, and they just pay, and you can raise your rents and they don't say anything, because they're not going to go down the street to pay $10 less, or not down the street. I'm sorry. Like, well, yeah, even down the street. Cause if you have a 10 by 10 unit, you know how much crap you got in there. It's amazing, and they're not going to unload a U-Haul just to say $10, but the beauty of it is that, again, the equity blast, and how quickly you can raise rents overnight and come out on top. And what do you got to fix? A garage door once in a while? Big deal. I mean, you can automate it so well that that you don't have to really do anything. Yes, you should go check on your facility once in a while. It's a business. No matter what, it's a business, period. So you should. But at the end of the day, though, there's not much you really have to do to it, because you're going to be sitting there all day twiddling your thumbs. There's not much to do. So, so for anything, that's why you hire boots on the ground, so they can take care of the maintenance for you. But it's it's freaking awesome. So that's why, I mean, but that, I don't know, maybe Scott has more, but so.
No, Gabe hit on a lot of things. When I was flipping businesses and flipping properties and rentals and stuff like that, every day you wake up and there's a challenge. To flip properties, I was doing one or two.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He got flipped.
One or two, big deal. I'm doing 10 storage. Like I said, the last wholesale fee we paid out was $60,000. You do 2 deals like that a year, you're sitting pretty good, in my opinion. The challenge for me is like, it's almost like going from a Ferrari where you're going, 150 miles an hour to something where it's not quite moving as fast. And you really have to take time to enjoy that. And that's not easy. Switching from, full metal, full blast to the floor, let's go, to something a little slower pace where you're only doing maybe a deal a quarter, because the deals are bigger and they're not as easy to find. They're not as plentiful. And that was the biggest challenge for me. And talking with Mike Wagner, I'm like, I'm going to keep doing flips because it just works. I know how it works. I'm doing a deal a month, it just works for me. That's why I never went into self-storage. Now that I've transitioned into self-storage, it's a slower process. And it's sometimes, man, you just feel like you're spinning your wheels. I'm gonna be honest with you, but you only have to do 2 or 3 deals a year and you're gonna make more money with less headache, in my opinion, than having rentals. But rentals are easy. Rentals are stable, and there's plentiful rentals too. So
Scott, can I interject?
we also automate everything too. Yep, you're gonna anyways. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go. I was waiting for you. Go.
When you talk about doing 1 or 2 deals a quarter of storage, though, the thing is, though, there's 2 things. I mean, yeah, you can kind of sit pretty and sit back once you do 1 or 2, but the cool thing is that because the deals are so, I guess, the lack of a better term, large, I guess, in some, the thing is, once you get a taste of that sweet apple pie, it's like you want more and more, and then it just gives you momentum. Like right now, I'm making calls like crazy, it's like, because I got that 1 deal, then I got another one, then we got 2 more, and it's like, oh my god, and I keep going and going and going, and I can't stop now. Like I eat, live, and breathe storage now because wholesaling, because it's like I want more, and I know, yeah, maybe a little greedy, maybe not, I don't know, but who cares? The fact of the matter is, it's so much fun though, and once you gain that momentum, it's like it's gravy, it's like it's all like icing on the cake, as you say. So that's the other cool thing too, is like I just can't stop now. I mean, my wife, she's like, "Will you stop for a second?" I'm like, "No," it's just so much fun, and I'm having fun doing it. That's the beauty of it. So.
Gabe, it's funny to listen to you. We must be married to the same woman. So when we get together in Rochester, we probably not bring our wives together, because man, they'll be like, I'm like, but
Not a good.
yeah, exactly. But he's right. The shifting of gears is, it's a change. From doing, you're knocking down deals a month and knocking down a deal a quarter, a deal every other month. It's a change, but when the numbers are bigger, you're like, oh, this is really cool. Also on the automation side, we have a call center who takes all the inbound calls. Most of my facilities right now, have a fence and have a gate with a keypad. People want to get in. We put them on charge card too. It's automatic payment every month. We don't take cash. We don't take checks. They either can do ACH or they can do credit card. If they can't do those, they can go to Walmart and get a prepaid credit card and put it in their account. Unfortunately, if they're a cash tenant, my automation process won't allow me to take cash tenants. And that's the thing. When I go to sell something, I want to make it as simple as I can for whoever's buying it to buy it. I want it fully automated. So what we do, we have a gate. They're all fenced in. They're gated. They have keypads. There's a call center that takes inbound calls to set people up to move into self-storage. And then And then if there's a problem, they call the call center. They don't call me. If there's an answer or question the call center can't answer, they will call me or they will send me a message. And I'll answer that question for them. And then I'll add it as a line item next time. Okay, if a customer calls in and wants this, this is what I want you to do. Or yes, I still want you to call me. But the cool thing is if they don't pay or if their credit card gets declined, their code automatically gets changed on the lock and they can't get in. Then they'll call to get in and the call center will say, hey, your credit card expired or your credit card was declined. Let's fix that. And we'll stop. They're like, no, I need to get in and get moving out. Great. Hey, what you owe and let you in. We haven't had an issue with that with people. Every once in a while it pop up. So some of the drawbacks. Let's see. We have had people live in our units. That is illegal in most states. I'm not going to say which states it's not illegal in, unbelievably. But you're probably living in one, I'll just say. And then, you know, they're paying $100 a month to live in a 10 by 10 versus an apartment. But we stopped that right away because we have security cameras in place and all that. We get, you know, it's a health issue. You know, that's our argument. And in most cases, I'm going to say 99% of the cases, they got to get out, you know. It's rare that that happens, but it does happen. People move out, they'll send us a picture of their moved out unit. Yeah, okay, you move the stuff out, but in the unit next to it that was vacant, that's where you put your bed that you're not going to use anymore and stuff like that. If you go back and clean that out, they're like, that's not my stuff. Well, I have the security camera to prove that was you moving your stuff into the unit next door. You know, that stuff happens. So overall, it's a good business to be in. I enjoy it, but that's the biggest reason is the upsides are bigger and it's a lot less maintenance. So that's why I'm in self-storage. That's why I moved to self-storage. Does that answer your question?
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
All right. What other questions do you have? Okay, cool. All right. If there's a question, let me know in chat or speak up. At this point, I want to talk about financing because that was the first thing that was brought up. And we do have Joe McGuire on this call. Most people use traditional bank financing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me. Long term, that's a better play. Credit unions, banks. What you should do if you're new in real estate, even if you're existing in real estate, talk to your local bank that you're dealing with now. Tell them what you want to do. If you have a 9-to-5 job, that's the best time to get loans from banks because banks like people who have 9-to-5 jobs. Once you lose your job, once you transition from your job, all of a sudden they're like, Scott Spear, who? I'm like, yeah, the same Scott Spear that you've loaned a lot of money to wants more money. Well, yeah, but you don't have a job anymore. Okay, I'm making more money than I did when I was doing my job, but it's just the way the banks are, and that's okay. But if you're using the BRRRR strategy, you know, I'm not sure what it is. It's like buy, rehab, rent, and refinance, I think is the BRRRR strategy. If you're doing that, that's perfect. That's where you need like a money lender, a private money lender, somebody who's going to loan you money. You're going to pay for it. It's 10, 12, 16% interest. Usually there's some points on there. I never worried too much about that because it's just part of my business plan. I put it into what the expenses were. And if I could afford to do it and hold the property for, let's say, a year at 10% interest and refinance it, if it didn't work, I just wouldn't buy the property, but in most cases it did work. That's private money. You can get lines of credit if you have a house, an existing house, and you have some equity in it. Talk to a bank about getting a home equity line of credit. Don't get a home equity loan where they give you the money, get a line of credit. It's like a credit card. So that's the biggest thing right there. But other than that, another way to go is private money lenders. And I'm gonna let Joe, if you don't mind, Joe, I'd like for you to speak on that, about private money lending, how you do it, what people should look for. And if Joe, if you could go ahead, please.
I'm just trying to do something, Scott. Sorry, somebody wanted a number. Yeah, everybody does it differently. When Scott did private lending, he would do things I wouldn't do. When I do it, I'll do things that Scott wouldn't do. Actually, I've done a few deals. Well, yeah, we just do different things. And as I tell people, if you ask 5 lenders what their criteria is, you'll get 7 different answers. It depends. And depends upon where you are in your investment cycle. If you're, I had to go to mid-year this year for National REIA, and somebody had mentioned Pete Fortunato that is a genius in lending or in mortgages, financing. And he had brought up that, you have beginners, accumulators, and enders. So it depends upon where you are in your investment. I'm not particularly a 100% financer. I mean, some people will lend the entire purchase price plus all the rehab right up front, plus money to acquire the property, finder's fee. I want equity. I like equity at this point in my life. And the reason I went over to the stages is in my mind, equity is important. Most loans that go bad have less than 10% equity. Now, I will, I do 100% financing, but I do it differently, or I do it in stages. I certainly have financed rehab, but it was in stages. It's not, you're buying it for 90 and it needs 50 of rehab and you're looking for 140. Yeah, I'm the wrong person for that. I'll do 140, but I'll do it in stages with draws, just like a construction loan that a regular bank will do. But I'm easier. And I don't think I'm answering your question. So the rates is, it really depends. Actually, I don't charge as much as I did, but I'm more cautious than I used to be. And I'll let money stay out longer than I used to. Before, I used to do it shorter term. I'll do longer term now, probably, I'll do longer term, and longer is relative. Understand that, longer is not 30 years. Longer might be 5. I don't know. A conversation is much better than a speech. So I could do much better in a conversation about it than just saying what I do, because everything is so dependent. And one of the advantages to a private lender is you can structure the deal. That's the whole point to it. You can, what does this deal need and what can we do? And you structure the financing to fit.
Yep. Part of the reason why banks are a pain to work with is because banks have hard and fast rules because they're built to scale. Anybody who knows anything about process at all realizes that when you grow and there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, you need processes to insulate yourself from risk. And that's why banks are a pain in the butt. But there are, banks around that do portfolio loans and that do, you can have 10 properties in an LLC and they'll fund all 10 in one mortgage. So there's ways to do it, but you need to, like, this is probably, we should have said this at the beginning, is if you're getting into real estate investing, you need a team. You need people who understand the local market. You need lenders, you need a lawyer, you need an insurance company, and you need to have all that stuff up front so that you get the right advice so you don't screw up, but it also can't paralyze you. Like, you just need to, and that's why FREIA is great, because there's people who do all that stuff in this group. You need to align yourself with people who have kind of been vetted and tested, and like, people will have mixed experiences with vendors and blah, 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 whatever. That's fine. But you know, there is a certain amount of due diligence you need to do on your own, and you need to work with people you're comfortable with, but you need to build a team and rely on them to advise you properly. Because you can't do everything yourself, even if you're a solopreneur like me, where I'm the whole business. Like, I have a business attorney, I have a trademark attorney, I have you know, an insurance agent, I have all these people that I can lean on to get stuff done that's specific to doing consulting. And you need to do the same thing for real estate.
Excellent. And yeah, perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing that. And like Joe had said, when it comes to lenders, there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat. And that's the thing I like about dealing with Joe is, hey, I could make you a loan, but if you want to do something else where I'm more like an equity partner, you know, Joe has that flexibility too. I've done that with people before. I'd be willing to do it again. I do it in self-storage. But I do have some loans that I make, and it's just an interest payment. You send me an interest payment every month. I'm doing less and less of those, but you send me an interest payment every month, we're good. That is a little part of my business, but the other part is, hey, I'll come in, I'll partner with you, I'll kind of give you some guidance and stuff, and I want to be more of an equity partner. I want to share in the upside of this. So, you know, but that's an option. It's business. You know, if it works in your business plan, great, do it.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I've done a fair number of equity type, that it's when somebody wants every dime that's involved in it, and they have no skin in the game.
Right.
Then it's, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want to do it for interest.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we had a question in the chat box. What is a construction loan? Andy or Joe, you want to take that one, please?
Construction, I'll let Andy do it. I mean, construction loan is, there are banks that do, and a number of banks will do construction loans, which is financing the work on a property. If you do, in one of my previous lives, we did a lot of government lending, and you know, the government had FHA 203Ks, and that was one of the things that we did, was it would purchase the property and the rehab. They were draw loans, but you know, you can do a conventional construction loan, and it's purchase, or if you already own the property, that's fine. But if not, they'll purchase the property and pay for the rehab, and they do so much up front, and then they do draws. They do inspections for each draw. You tell them you want the draw, it's a set schedule. Normally a 2 or 3 draw schedule, and they come out, they send the inspector out, they inspect it, they like it, they send you the draw. Then you pay for the next step.
He summed it up. That's it. Draw loans. Have to have the work done before they'll pay you the next chunk. Don't waste your money. I've dealt with so many of them when I was in sales that I would see guys go to build a house. They'd get a construction loan. Out of the first draw, they'd buy themselves a pickup truck, and then they couldn't complete the house. The whole loan would default. Like, it was a mess. Like, oh, I'm just going to go buy a $30,000 tricked out, you know, Lincoln pickup truck. And Who needs who needs to, install flooring and stuff in their house that they're going to go live in?
All right.
No,
Perfect.
somebody
Thanks,
had a
guys.
question
And
on seller financing. I think Dan had a question on seller financing.
yeah, he did. Yeah, go ahead and hit that. You want to talk on it, Joe?
Oh, I thought Dan had a particular question on it. I'm all for seller financing. That's what I buy. So I've sold on seller financing. I buy seller financing. I'm all for it, and I'm all for it even
I'm
more
with you
so.
too, Dan Leship. Yeah, we are to the point now with self-storage. We're asking every self-storage facility owner that's selling, hey, would you consider owner financing? At first, someone were like, no way, I want the money up front. But then when you explain it to them and you tell them to talk to their accountant and say, look, you're going to pay big capital gains on this if you sell it. If you owner finance it, your capital gains are going to work out better in the long run. But talk to your accountant about that. Plus, some of them, we're giving them a heavy down payment. We're giving them 30% down and they're all financing the rest. It's funny. Some of them are just like, some of them we talk to, and you may find this too in what you're looking for. And this is where you have to deal with private individuals, Dan. Through a broker or something like this, it's a lot harder, I'm going to say. But when you're dealing directly with an owner selling a property, especially if it's an owner who's retiring out, they're like, I like that monthly check that I get every month in the rent. So, well, hey, if you owner finance this, I will pay you, $2,000 a month. You're still going to get a check for $2,000 a month every month from me. And, that way you lead into retirement. You get a residual check every month. And it's a trust factor when you're talking to somebody about owner financing. If they feel they can trust you, they probably are going to look more favorably on owner financing. If they feel like they don't trust you, A, they're not going to play the property, but B, also they're not going to owner finance. So it's just building that trust and relationship with them that a lot of times will lead to owner financing for us. Does that help, Dan?
I did that with the house I live in now. I just wrote a letter to the owner. The house was vacant, and I wrote a letter, and I got a letter a year back. It took a little while, but he financed it. It needed work, and he financed it. And then once I had the work done, went to a bank and got a loan on that. So definitely, it's doable. You just have to look for the right place and see if you can find it. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's the right person too. They need the need for the financing.
Right. It didn't have a kitchen, so it couldn't be bank financed at the
That would
time.
do it, yeah.
So he wanted to get rid of it. So that was the way to do it.
Yeah, but yes, yeah. Seller financing used to be very popular for properties that were not financeable, and that's still the case. But a lot of properties now or a lot of seller financing now are on properties that are eminently bankable, suburban $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes. But the people have, as Scott said, part of it is the capital gains, part of it is what they're going to do with the money. Somebody who's elderly may want that steady income stream, may not, somebody younger may want it. It depends upon the people's situation. Or, perhaps they're setting it up for their retirement account or spouse or grandchildren, something like that. But it's all individual. What's the situation and how can you make it work?
So Scott, you mentioned a 30% down payment. Do they also have an interest, rate they apply to the whole situation? And or how do you guys find those people?
Yeah, the interest rate is anywhere between 0% and 12%. We have done a couple of deals where there's 0% interest. we just tell people, look, if you want, you just negotiate with them and find out what they want. That's the biggest thing is we got to find out what they want. Why are they selling the property and what are they going to do with the money? But most times they're around like 5-6% is probably the norm when it comes to owner financing that I see. And you just explain to them, look, you're going to take all this money and put it in the bank and earn 0.5% interest, or do you want to owner finance it and I'm going to pay you, 5% interest. The deals where it was 0% interest, we were overpaying for the property a little bit, but when I broke the numbers down, I'm like, I'm coming out so much further ahead because they're giving me 0% financing. That's how we looked at it. We had some people who were just unrealistic on the price they wanted. We're like, okay, I'll pay that price, but I want you to owner finance it. And then you just kind of slip it in. You say, here's what your monthly payments are going to be. And most of them, we've got a couple of them bite and say, okay, you're going to pay me $4,500 a month. Yep, I am, for 30 years. And that's how that's worked. But the biggest thing you want to find out is what do they want to do with the money? We're talking with one guy right now. It's an interesting conversation where he's going to retire and he's going to collect Social Security, but that's not for another 2 to 3 years. We said, well, how about if we structure it this way? We'll make higher payments to you now because you're not collecting Social Security. And then in 3 years, when you start collecting Social Security, your payments are going to go down, but we're going to stretch them over 30 years. And he liked that idea. He thought that was a great idea. And, it's just something I came up with, it's kind of like thinking through what he wanted. And that's it. With owner financing, a lot of people were like, okay, I'll owner finance it for 2 years, but I want a balloon. In other words, they want you to pay it off, no problem. After 2 years of owner financing, you should be in a position where you're either selling the property or you're able to get a bank loan because you're able to go to the bank and show them the financials and say, hey, here's what I've done over the last 2 years. I need a bank loan to pay this guy off. 9 times out of 10, the banks are like, yep, we'll take it. Does that help?
Yeah. The idea of being in your 60s and getting more before Social Security, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So, and owner finance deals are just easier. You don't have to get the appraisal done. You don't have to go through all the bank, checking into every detail that you have. And that's what Gabe and I have talked about. We're willing to pay more for properties if somebody's willing to owner finance. In some cases, Gabe's made offers that were 3 offers. One offer was all cash. Another offer was bank financing. And another offer was with owner financing. Typically, owner financing is going to be a higher price. We're going to pay them more for their property. Then the next option is bank financing. It's like the middle of the road price for Gabe. And then the lowest price is cash. You want cash? Here's a cash offer. So let's take a property. I'm going to say a $200,000 property. I'll give you $200,000 for the property if you owner finance it. If you don't want to owner finance it, that's okay. I'll pay $175,000, but I want bank financing. I need time to get the bank financing all together. And then the third offer is $150,000. If you want cash right now, closing as quick as you can in New York, I'll give you $150,000. And that's the 3 offers. And as long as you explain it to them and you walk them through it, most of them are like, you'll give me $200,000 for my property. I will, but you have to owner finance it. Or some are going to say, I want 200, but I want cash. It's like, well, okay, we don't have a deal here. You just kind of walk at that point. But the biggest thing is just like us. What do you want out of it? Where do you want your real estate investment career to take you? And that's the same with them. What do they want? And a lot of people, this is where Gabe beats a lot of people, a lot of wholesalers. He beats them because he builds a relationship with this person, and people are going to sell to people that they like. And that's the thing with Gabe. A lot of these wholesalers go in and say, here's the offer, that's it. If you don't want it, bye-bye. And that's a conversation. And they don't even know what the guy wants. And that's where Gabe is beating a lot of people because he's taking that extra time to just listen to somebody, listen to what they want. I mean, it's an extra 15 minutes, but if you're getting the deal, and Joe Lavavera will talk about that too when you're wholesaling. people will sell to people they like for less than somebody that they wouldn't trust. Joe's gotten deals for less than somebody else is willing to pay him, and Gabe has too. Gotten deals for less than the other offers they had because they trusted Gabe, they knew Gabe could close, they knew Gabe would get it done, and if Gabe built a relationship with them, and that's the biggest thing we want to do here. So we're not in this business to screw anybody. We're in this business to help everybody make money. If you're in a business to screw other people, please do me a favor and get out now. That's what I tell people. Go through life. I know some wholesalers that aren't happy until they make people almost cry. So because of the low ridiculous price they're offering. So that's it. So hope that helps. All righty. We got Andy, we got about 10 more minutes on this.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? I got one other subject we can talk about, but if somebody has a question, I want to answer those questions. And if you're new, don't feel like your question's dumb because we all had the same question at one point, or it's a question we didn't know that we had. Also, I'm like, oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Does anybody have any other questions?
No, but I'm going to have to leave. Thank you very much, Scott. It was a very good meeting. I like the smaller meetings.
Cool.
They're more of a conversation. But okay.
Joe. Thanks for your input, Joe. Take care, guys. Yep.
Same.
Hey, Joe.
All right, cool. Now that the vice president's gone. I want to, if somebody else has a question, great. Gabe, you got anything you want to add or question to ask or anything?
I don't know. Should I ask this question, Scott, about the call I just had? I mean, I want to see what others say. I mean, it's. I was going to talk to you about it, of course, later, but what the hell?
Throw it out there. Let's go.
I might be.
You have to give him a little backstory too. Don't forget, you and I know everything about this. You have to give him a little backstory. This is quite the deal that Gabe has been working on for
2 years.
A while. 2 years.
So 2 years ago, I found this facility in Yorkshire, Chaffee, somewhere around there.
Western New York.
Western New York, yeah. It's about 18,000 square feet, 118 units. At the time, I think it was 80% full. And it needed a little bit of work, blah, blah. So I was dealing with this realtor who she's I don't know, she's a crackerjack box realtor. Anyways, so I think from what I know, it's off the market, and I've been trying to deal with it. I've been trying to get under contract. I mean, and the terms are just they're just they're not realistic. So I'm like, okay, we just kind of let it go, and they said they got other offers, but nothing happened. It's still sitting there. So this weekend, my wife made me actually go on the websites and see if it's still on the market. And so, lo and behold, it's off the market. So I'm like, hot damn, let's go. So I made a call, and was it yesterday or the day before? My first cold call. Actually, it's a cold call to the owner because I'm not dealing with a realtor anymore. In any event, I try to get a hold of her, and because the storage facility owner, by the way, owns a deli. It's called Weber City Deli, and a teenager, I guess, answered the phone, and she says to me, I don't know when she'll be in, but she'll be in tomorrow morning. But you just said you don't know when she'll be in, so she told me that she'll be in this morning. So I called this morning, and she's not in again. So the question now remains, and I left a message for her to call me back, and 9 times out of 8, they never call me back. So I just have to keep following up with them. So the question now remains, though, is what do I do to get a hold of this person, short of going down there myself and like going in her face and like, hey, I'm the one that calls you all the time. What should I do? How many to where it gets less? Let me step back. How many times should I call this person to get a hold of her before that teenager girl gets annoyed? She's like, she's never going to talk to you. Like how do I? Because I need to get a hold of this person. Because I'm not relying on this teenager. You know how they are, guys. I mean, really, they're not going to pass the message along. So, what do I do to? How many times should I call? Should I call daily? Not once a week. Once every other day, like what's the quota, I guess, or what's the standard for calling so I can get a hold of this person? Because I need to get a hold of this person. It's like I'm on crack now. I need the stuff right now. You know, it's like Scott, I need to get this deal done. Like, you know, so I'm asking you guys, how many times a week should I call this girl so I can actually speak to her? You know, because I want to call her every hour of the day if I could, but I don't want to be too annoying. You know,
And I'm not going to answer that question. I want somebody else to answer it.
please.
Even new people. Yeah. What do you think? What is overwhelming? What's too much and what's not enough?
My first thought was, can you get the teenager on your side somehow? Like, I don't know, send her flowers or something. I mean, that's just crazy, but you know, how can you build a relationship with a teenager somehow so she wants to give you the information?
Mhm.
And, or, you know, like, what's your position there? Or talk to her and, you know, like, oh, I'm so glad you answered the phone. I'm, it's good to talk to you again. Or I don't know. That's just something that I might do.
Yeah.
So
That's a
she's
good,
not, yeah. So she's not mad at you.
yeah, like maybe ask her name or like, you know, what do you do there? Yeah, it's awesome. I like that. That's cool.
Something like that.
Don't
That's my
send
first
flowers.
thought. Yeah.
Then you might be bordering on some other charges. But
Well, that's it. Yeah, not don't go too far. You're right.
All right. That's cool. Thank you. We sent our TikTok message.
Right.
Is calling the only way to reach
And I'm
them?
glad you answered that question.
Right now, calling is the only way to reach them. I don't have her email address. I could drive down there, but it's an hour and a half. I'm not afraid of driving down there. It's not the point. I just don't want to waste my time and show up there like, oh, she's not here today. So the other way right now is I need to get her on the phone and actually speak to her because I never spoke to Deanna before. I only had the opportunity or missed opportunity to speak to the realtor, and that went nowhere. But in any event, now that I can have the opportunity to speak to the owner, that'll be the best. That'll be my shoe in. And I know she wants to sell. I do. I know that. I mean, it was on the market before. How can you also not want to sell? So, and I know this because Scott now knows history. So, that's the only way, yeah, is to actually call her and speak with her directly. But again, I
Well,
need to.
If it was on the market before and didn't sell, and now she's saying she doesn't want to sell, I guess you just need to figure out, is it because she wants to live there? Or is it because she thinks she's going to get more money for it because the market was insane and now it's not anymore? So she's turned off because she thought she was going to get all this extra cash and that's not going to happen now.
Well, that's you know, it's funny you said that, Andy, because before she thought she was gonna get a lot of money for it. Actually, because she was gonna sell a portfolio for like 1.2 or 1.3 million. Not gonna happen. We saw, especially when we saw the numbers, which was a lot of information. We didn't know how to make a valuation of just the storage facility itself. And the broker told me that, the realtor told me that, well, she wants to sell, but she doesn't need to. She has health problems. She's gonna die. Well, why do you want to sell something you're gonna die? But you know what? She's gonna leave it to her kids and all this stuff. So now I know she still has these health problems. Unfortunately, it's the way it is. So I went on county records, nothing, there's no recording of anything. They didn't know deeds or warranty deeds or anything handing off or whatever. So it's still the same property under the same name. Therefore, nothing happened. So I'm thinking that, well, the realtor sucked. So we'll just go off the market and see what happens, you know, and just wing it. Well, that's why I go for these off-market properties, especially when I know what happened with this one before. I mean, I'm going to go on for the kill and get this under contract. So I just know it's got to happen. I just have a good feeling about it. No, I don't. But I have a feeling.
Is there a mailing address? Could you send an old-fashioned letter since she's older, maybe?
I can get it. Yeah, I can get it to her home, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of mailings, but what the heck?
Right. Ask her to call you or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I could actually track down her cell number and call her directly. Oh, there's an idea. Never mind. So that's a good idea. So, but yeah, mailings are somehow locate her directly to hone in on her. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Now I know what to do. That's all I got, Scott. Where is he?
He may be laggy. His connection is blank. So my guess is his camera's on and his signal's terrible. There he is.
Oh, there we go. There, I'm back. Okay. Laptop probably fix this problem too. We'll see. Anyways, perfect timing, Gabe. You ended it. We are landing this plane on time, as somebody else says in one of their Zooms. But thank you, everybody, for joining. It was a great meeting. I like the small groups where we can talk a little more openly. I want to end it with thanks, everybody, for coming. See you again in 2 weeks. It's an evening session then. And Andy, if you can, I'd like for you to talk again about next week's meeting, where it's going to be at, and the particulars on that, because as far as I know, everybody on this call, you're the first ones to find out about the new location. So you should be one of the first 10 there to get a free drink. Go ahead, Andy. And then we're going to end it. Thanks, everybody.
All right. So last details. It's going to be over at the Ferrari Pizza Bar next Thursday, 5 p.m. People start showing up. Sign in is going to be at 6:30. Speaker starts at 7. First 10 members there who are paid members get a free drink ticket. Pizza will be provided. Adult beverages, the bar will be there. We are not buying alcohol outside of those first 10 tickets. However, you're not going to be paying $20 for a single bourbon like some other places that we have used before. So Thursday, 5 p.m., Ferrari Pizza Bar over at the Piano Works in East Rochester, right off of 490. Speaker is going to be Bob Taylor, talking about getting started in Canandaigua and how he lost his job. Him and his wife are going to be there, how he lost his job, how he went from 0 units to 100 units, and he lost his job at a bad time. He was ready for retirement. He was in his 50s. So he wasn't going to go out and get another career at that point. So real estate was calling him. And it's all down in Canandaigua. So he's not a Monroe County guy, very much an Ontario County guy. So it'll be a good talk about the challenges and stuff that they ran into.
And you want to talk about the picnic quick too, Andy?
Yes. So the picnic is going to be on Thursday, the 11th of August. It's going to be at the White House Lodge. Every member that's, again, a paid member of FFREIA gets to come and bring a guest. So by all means, put that on your calendar now, reserve it. That's going to be a 5 to 9 event. So show up anytime after 5 o'clock, get some barbecue. There will be no speakers. I'm going to stop the recording right now. Hold, please.